The final plan, the fake Armageddon staged by the Cabal, destination Antarctica. A tale of secrets, survival, and sabotage. In the frozen depths of Antarctica, beneath a labyrinth of ice and stone, a sanctuary thrived, an underground city powered by stolen wealth, alien technology, and the ambitions of the architects. This shadowy cabal, made up of the wealthiest and most influential families, had spent over a century manipulating the world to enact their apocalyptic vision. Their ultimate goal, a nuclear holocaust that would wipe out 99.9% of humanity, leaving only themselves and a few chosen ones to inherit the earth. In a dimly lit chamber deep beneath the sprawling metropolis of London, an elite council convened. They were known by many names: Illuminati, the Cabal, the Controllers, but to themselves, they were simply the architects. They had been steering the course of human history for centuries, operating in shadows and manipulating governments, economies, and wars. Their ultimate goal, to reset the world under their absolute control. For decades, whispers of their grand plan had surfaced in conspiracy theories. The truth, however, was far more insidious. The architects had long believed humanity to be a resource, one they would exploit until it was no longer useful. Their blueprint was clear: reduce the global population to a manageable 500 million, then rebuild a utopia exclusively for themselves and their chosen progeny. The missing wealth. The collapse of Lehman Brothers, the siphoning of gold reserves during the 2008 financial crisis, and the recent mysterious disappearance of central bank assets were all meticulously orchestrated. Trillions of dollars had been funneled into black budget projects, ostensibly for national security, but these funds had been used to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technologies. Since the crash of the Roswell craft in 1947, the Cabal had covertly salvaged alien artifacts from crashes across the globe, Tunguska, Siberia in 1908, and even ancient ruins in Egypt. These discoveries led to breakthroughs in energy, propulsion, and materials science. Nikola Tesla's theories of zero-point energy had been suppressed, while mainstream scientists were fed crumbs of this advanced knowledge, leading to innovations like microchips and fiber optics. But the true potential of these technologies, free energy, anti-gravity propulsion, and quantum communication, was locked away in facilities in Nevada, Siberia, and Antarctica. The Antarctic hideout. Adolf Hitler's post-war escape to Antarctica, aided by Operation Paperclip and the complicity of certain Western elites, laid the groundwork for the Cabal's sanctuary. Hidden beneath miles of ice, vast underground bases had been constructed using alien-derived tunneling and construction equipment. By the time the world turned its eyes to global warming, the Cabal had already built entire cities beneath the ice, self-sustaining and impervious to the chaos above. The living dead. Publicly, Jacob Rothschild, David Rockefeller, and Henry Kissinger were dead. In reality, they had quietly disappeared, their deaths fabricated. They had been escorted to Antarctica, joining other elites in a final exodus. The Elon Musk Mars colonization narrative was merely a distraction, keeping the public enamored with the illusion of a technological escape while the Cabal solidified its terrestrial dominance. The final conflict. The escalating tensions in Ukraine, the South China Sea, and the Middle East were not random. They were deliberate. The Cabal's puppets in global leadership, Putin, Xi Jinping, and NATO heads, had been instructed to sow chaos. The plan was to ignite a nuclear war that would obliterate 99.9% of humanity. The remaining survivors would be too few and fractured to resist. The forgotten force. But the Cabal had overlooked one crucial factor: an extraterrestrial force that had been observing humanity for millennia. These beings, neither benevolent nor malevolent, had long adhered to a principle of non-interference. However, the Cabal's nuclear ambitions had crossed a threshold. In a secret installation in Nevada, a scientist named Dr. Eleanor Hart had discovered anomalies in their quantum experiments, signals that suggested intelligent tampering. These anomalies escalated when the Cabal began testing a device intended to trigger their doomsday scenario. One night, while the Cabal convened in Antarctica, their most secure systems were hacked. A single message appeared on every screen: "Your plan ends here. Humanity will decide its own fate." The showdown. As the Cabal rushed to initiate their final act, their bases were sabotaged. Nuclear codes were erased, their doomsday devices rendered inert. Across the globe, civilians inexplicably rose against tyranny with unprecedented coordination. In Antarctica, their once secure hideout became a trap, its systems disabled, leaving them stranded beneath the ice. Dr. Hart, who had been secretly working with the extraterrestrial force, revealed the truth to the world through a global broadcast. She explained the Cabal's century-old deception and humanity's near destruction. The revelation sparked a revolution, uniting humanity against the remnants of the Cabal's influence. A new beginning. With the Cabal defeated and their technologies declassified, humanity began to rebuild. Zero-point energy replaced fossil fuels, and the secrets of the stars became the birthright of every citizen. As for the extraterrestrial force, they disappeared as mysteriously as they had intervened. Humanity's destiny was now its own, a future shaped not by elites, but by the collective will of its people. And beneath the ice of Antarctica, the Cabal's frozen city remained, a monument to greed, hubris, and the resilience of humanity. The illusion of the future. Key to the Cabal's deception was Elon Musk's Mars colonization project. Starship launches, Martian imagery, and his charismatic rhetoric about becoming a multi-planetary species had been masterfully staged. Behind the scenes, Musk was merely a puppet for the Cabal, tasked with creating an illusion of hope. The real goal was never Mars. The Cabal's sanctuary was Earth itself, hidden beneath Antarctica. And at the center of their survival strategy was another of Musk's creations, Starlink. Starlink, the lifeline of the Cabal. While the public saw Starlink as a tool for global internet connectivity, the Cabal had a different purpose for it. The satellite network, numbering in the tens of thousands, was secretly programmed to become the sole communication system for their Antarctic hideout after the planned nuclear apocalypse. When the world above was reduced to radioactive wastelands, traditional communication infrastructure, fiber optics, cellular networks, and satellite systems relying on ground stations would be destroyed. Starlink, however, was designed to operate independently, with direct connections between satellites forming a resilient, self-sustaining network. From their subterranean city, the architects would use Starlink to monitor the Earth's surface. With its orbital coverage, Starlink would allow the Cabal to observe and track any surviving human activity, ensuring that no remnants of the population posed a threat to their plans. Coordinate autonomous drones. Swarms of automated drones, controlled via Starlink, would patrol the surface to neutralize survivors or secure resources. Maintain internal operations. Within the Antarctic base, Starlink would enable encrypted communications, AI management systems, and even virtual reality entertainment for the elite. The nuclear stage. The Cabal's puppets in global leadership, Putin, Xi Jinping, NATO heads, continued to escalate tensions. Proxy wars in Ukraine, Taiwan, and the Middle East were deliberately amplified until nuclear exchanges became inevitable. The Cabal's plan was simple: allow chaos to engulf the world while they disappeared into their Antarctic haven. As the first warheads detonated, billions would perish. Cities would crumble, and Earth's surface would become uninhabitable for centuries. The Cabal, however, would emerge untouched, their sanctuary shielded by layers of alien-derived technology. A fatal oversight. But while the architects believed their plan was flawless, they had overlooked one critical factor: a mysterious extraterrestrial force that had been observing humanity for millennia. This force, responsible for seeding much of the technology the Cabal now hoarded, had quietly intervened. As the Cabal initiated the final stages of their plan, Starlink began experiencing inexplicable disruptions. Satellites failed to respond. The encrypted communication systems they had relied upon became compromised. The autonomous drones they planned to deploy against survivors went offline. The revelation. Unbeknownst to the architects, their secret had already been exposed. Dr. Eleanor Hart, a whistleblower working in a Nevada black budget facility, had hacked into their systems with the help of the extraterrestrial force. She uncovered the full scope of the Cabal's plans and broadcasted them to the world using Starlink itself. Her message included evidence of the fake Mars mission, satellite imagery of the Antarctic city, blueprints of the Starlink-based communication system designed to control Earth after the apocalypse. The global population, stunned by the revelations, erupted in rebellion. Citizens dismantled the Cabal's power structures, exposing collaborators and seizing assets. The collapse of the Cabal. In Antarctica, the Cabal found itself cut off. The extraterrestrial force had neutralized their Starlink network, severing their link to the outside world. Their hidden sanctuary, once a symbol of ultimate control, became a frozen prison. Above ground, humanity, now unified and aware, began to rebuild. The suppressed technologies, zero-point energy, anti-gravity propulsion, and advanced medical breakthroughs were declassified and shared freely. Starlink, once a tool of oppression, was repurposed to reconnect a recovering world. A new dawn. The Cabal's frozen city remained hidden beneath the Antarctic ice, its occupants isolated and powerless. For all their wealth and technology, they had been undone by their own hubris and by the resilience of humanity. As for the extraterrestrial force, it faded into the cosmos, leaving humanity with a final message. Your destiny is yours to shape. Choose wisely. The age of deception had ended. Humanity's true potential, long suppressed, could finally flourish. Beneath the Antarctic ice, the echoes of a failed Cabal served as a reminder. No plan, no matter how grand, could stand against the collective will of a united world.